How's it going, guys? I wanted to show y'all this generator I found in the trash. So we're gonna see what's wrong with it and see if we can get her running. See if the trash generator's worth it. Now this is about the most produced mass sold generator I've ever seen. You can get this thing Harbor Freight. It was called a tailgater. This one was one from Harbor Freight. They called it a Storm Cat. They sell them at Atwoods. It's called a something else. You know, you can get them online. There's tons of these, and they're all the exact same, just about. The only differences I've ever found on these is some of them have a all aluminum flywheel, and some of them will have a plastic fan. But this one, it feels like it's got good compression on there. It's got plenty of compression. It's got fuel in it, but I tried to do some cranking on it, and it wasn't hitting a lick. So we'll see if it'll do a start here. Okay, so it ain't hitting a lick. So I'm gonna pull this breather cover off, grab a Phillips. You got two Phillips screws right here on the front cover. You're gonna pull them out. Pop that cover off like that. Right here's your air filter. Most people don't think these things come with an air filter, but the air sucks into this little square, and then it goes through the air filter and over into the carburetor, which the air filter don't really do much. But most of the time you don't run your generator in dirt situations, hopefully, because most generators don't hold up good to sand going in the generator unit itself. So it likes to eat stuff. But okay, as I can tell by just the smell, we're getting plenty of fuel out of here. So just for the heck of it, I'm going to show y'all how to clean the carburetor. If you look right here, you got a 10mm bolt screwed in there, and there's also a drain here, but it's hard to get to. But basically, you grab you a 10mm wrench. You ain't got to take all this off to clean it. And you do if you replace the carburetor, which these carburetors are like probably like $9 online. So which you had fuel in the carburetor. Pull the bowl off. That gas smells real old, but you can see not a speck of dirt in there. It's actually got a filter in the tank where it comes out of the tank. You can put an inline filter. We're getting plenty of fuel. Now all you gotta check on this thing is there's a little jet right here. Right here, this is actually a torch tip cleaner. They work good for this, but you check this little jet right here. Sometimes it won't fit in there, and you go all the way through, and that actually comes out inside the where you can see it down inside the carburetor. That means the opening's clear. Alright, I went ahead and got me a little piece of wire, just regular old wire like everybody's gonna have laying around. Just got one strand right here sticking out. And you take that one little strand, and you should be able to poke it through right here, and see it comes right through on the inside, so no resistance. A piece of an actual throttle cable or some kind of cable works better, but that tells me the carburetor's all clean. So we'll put the bowl back on, make sure this pin right here, this one tried to fall out, put it back up in there, put the bowl back on there, make sure that rubber seal's still on the top. Should go on there like that. Alright, I'm going to screw the screw back in right here. Take the 10mm and just snug it up. You don't want to torque this thing down. Just get her good and snug. Because if you torque this down, you'll crush the bottom of the float bowl and actually, well, you won't shut the gap, but you don't want to crush the float bowl. So we'll flip that back down. We'll leave the cover off. I'm thinking what is going on is just the gas is so old that it won't burn. That's what I'm thinking. Now it looks like this thing's caught a fire before, because maybe that's why they threw it away. I'm seeing a lot of, looks like chipping right here, but I guess that's from the factory, or maybe they shaved it off or something. But yeah, it looked like it caught a fire and melted the bottom of this. I don't know, somewhere in this area. But put it back down right here, and I'm gonna pull the plug out. I'll go ahead and pull the plug out. These things come factory, all of them, with a Chinese spark plug. It's called a Torch brand. So I got my 13/16 socket here. Fits over that. Take that sucker out real quick. I don't think this plug's ever been took out because I'm pretty sure. Okay, this one's not a Torch. I guess they might have changed names, but a lot of them have what you call a Torch. This one's got a dang a Bow-On, I don't know. Ain't no NGK. So we'll check out a bunch of leaves and dirt blew out there. I'm gonna take the spark plug and put it back in here. The end of this plug wire is falling apart. And we'll put it, it needs to be on a piece of metal, not that plastic. So I'll stick it right here. Give it a twist. It's on the metal. And I'm gonna kill the light. I'll give her a pull. Okay, so I'm seeing spark. So we should have fire. So let's try blow that off. Taking my old wire wheel over here and give her a good cleaning. I don't like all that dirt in there, but it didn't get down in the spark plug hole, so we should be alright. So screw that back in there. If I had a new one, I would go ahead and replace it with a NGK or something better than this one. But yeah, because the worst thing you want to do is get plumb out to deer camp or wherever you're going and go to start up your old generator and the sucker won't run. Alright, another problem with these, I'm going to check it real fast, is this right here. Okay, if you look at the end of this tailpipe, there's like a little screen shoved over it. And it's got a hose clamp on there, which they call that a spark arrestor. Now this one is completely plugged off, which here, I ain't gonna be using it many state parks. And plus, this muffler's got so much stuff in it, I've never really seen sparks come out of one of these. But to pass standards, it's gotta have that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it off just to see. And it helps keep dirt daubers out, but a lot of times, see how it's really stopped up? A lot of times that'll cut down a bunch of your power and the thing won't run. Or the muffler itself gets stopped up from mixing the fuel too strong. And turn the gas back on. Give her a good choking. And see if it'll start now. Okay, I'm gonna go get some gas in a bottle, some fresh gas, and squirt in there and see if it'll hit off that. Alright, so I got me a bottle. It's pretty strong mix because this thing, I don't know how long it's been setting and lube up the rings or whatever. Mixed gas in here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn her up like this. Open the choker and just give it a little squirt in there. I'm gonna turn the choker back on. Give her a couple jerks. Oh, it felt like she's gonna go. Open that choker. Let me try this again. Yeah. So basically what has happened is all the octane has evaporated out of the gasoline that's in here, and it's just strong enough, not strong enough to burn. So I'll drain the fuel tank real quick. I'll fill her up with some fresh gas. We'll see if that fixes it, and then we'll see if it's making power. Alright guys, I put me a bucket down here. I just basically got this thing on the edge of the workbench here where it's hanging over. I'm going to take my pliers right in this crack beside your fuel valve. I'm going to pull this little hose clamp off right here. And see if I can pop the line off. I probably could have just put fresh gas in here and have tilt this thing over because there wasn't much in it. But I don't know if that's mixed or what, and I don't want to run that through the engine. Looks like it's got a little bit of water in it. So I'll let that drain. I'll come back when we get all drained out. Alright, I got all the gas drained out. So now I'm going to fill it up with some mixed gas. The way they recommend you do this, I'm thinking you fill a tank of gas. You fill this to the top with mixing oil and you dump it in there. I don't know if that's completely accurate. And you might fill the carburetor up with straight gas, and that's not good for the engine. Or you might use that to dump in a gallon jug, which I just used a 1 bottle mix to a 1 gallon jug right here. And I'm just going to pour enough in there and make sure she runs and works. And just dump it all over the dang thing. So, but yeah, that's the only problem with these jugs. Yo, oil comes out of here so great. So I give her about half a tank. I think this thing holds about a gallon, but it's covered in gas. So I'm gonna put the lid back on, and while there's gas all over it, I'm gonna get something and use that to clean it up a little bit. Get some of that down nasty off of there. But I'll give it a minute to evaporate. We'll come back, and well, I'm gonna leave this off. Make sure she'll crank. But let's just, for the heck of it, I got a fire extinguisher if she burst into flames. So a lot of times what happens is when you're down on the floor and spill gasoline, see, all these fumes are gonna fall to the floor, which this is up on the table. So it should be alright, maybe. See if she'll crank now. Kick the gas back on, and I'm gonna give it a squirt of this to try to suck whatever's got down in the carburetor out, and see if she'll fire up. Just work its way out. Yeah, it's kind of loud, but hey, if you're in an ice storm or a power outage, hey, you ain't gonna hear it outside while you're in there watching TV, when everybody else is sitting in the dark. We'll go ahead and pop this air cover back on, and make sure there ain't no dirt daubers in it. They like to go down in these holes right here. Pop the cover back on her. Tell y'all what, when we get to 2,000 subscribers, I'll pick one of y'all, or if you're the 2,000th subscriber, I'll throw this sucker in a box and ship it to you. Maybe, if it ain't too much shipping. Sure, it ain't that much. They never mailed nothing like that. Ordered generators. Now these things will run you about $175, $200 probably now with inflation, but you can find them everywhere, pawn shops. Don't pay what they're asking. Usually you can get them for like $60. they don't put out clean power. They put out rough power. So like my house or then my shop, everything is now LED. So a lot of times I'll plug one of like a generator like this to the house in a power outage to run my icebox and my lights, and that's all I use. Maybe turn on the TV, and it can handle that all together. Now the icebox puts a big load, and as long as it don't go into that automatic defrost mode, you'll be alright. But when it goes to that, it draws a lot of juice because there's actually a heating element that comes on in the freezer. And last time we was in a power outage, that happened. But like I said, I've used one like this. They work, you know. That you pay for what you get. You know, if you want a nice generator, you can get a nice one. Like a Honda will blow this thing out of the water. But if you're going to run your deer camp and just regular lights, it'll run LEDs over the camp. It just, you know, that gives it a weird flicker to the LEDs, and it's about the alternators in here and LEDs. But everybody like and subscribe, and check out both channels. So okay, I'm gonna upload this on both. That way it works both ways. But there's the Lansdale's ATV and repair now. It's over on the just repairs, like it's all the shop stuff and all that. And then this one's gonna be the Dustin Lansdale channel. The Dustin Lansdale channel is more we get out and do stuff, you know. And this one, well, we kind of work on stuff like this one's like a special, so I'm gonna load it both. But because it's repair and it's kind of me talking about generators. But everybody like and subscribe. Like I said, if we get to 2,000, somebody else can have it.